Hey friends, so I'm Rachel Archelaus. I'm the owner of the Intuitive Art Academy and Zephyrus Press. And right now I'm meeting with our client relations and editor extraordinaire, Dina Hoover, who also makes you ASL videos. And we were just talking about the difference between getting a book written and like putting it on Amazon in a quick manner versus doing it the publisher way and just what we've experienced with that. But I just thought, you know what? We are having a class on how to write your book using intuitive art. So, meaning how to write your book so that it feels really good to you, so that it's easier than just having to like sit there and grind it out. But also, I'm a publisher. And so, well, Dina's also a publisher. So, we've seen all kinds of approaches to releasing your book. And so we just figured we'd record our conversation for you in case you're interested in this topic of writing a book or publishing a book. So here we go. Back to our conversation.
Back to our conversation. I was enjoying talking about the times when you get really excited, and there are times that it is totally okay to hurry and blitz through something, and other times where it's really beneficial to to take to take your time. And you said you kind of discovered the same thing in the same hard way that I did too.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about how, I used to be really interested in like how do I get my message and content out there? And there's all these people online telling you to like repurpose everything. So I took a bunch of blog posts and I made them into a book about I called it psychic development, but it was kind of there was a lot of everything in the book from my old blog and I put it online and I've probably sold about 12 in like 8 years. So that was that approach. I made the cover myself, I edited it myself, I put it together myself, which, I don't really know how to do. I may be a publisher, but I work with like really professional people who know how to do those things. Um, so it didn't, the promise was have more income from sharing your content in a different way. And I have to say, it didn't work. No, that's not to say that it can't. I mean, I'm sure it does in some cases, but it didn't for me. But when I wrote Intuitive Art, that book, there was this inner calling of slow down, do it the right way. You know how, you know what the right way is, and you're not losing anything by taking a few extra months. So that's what I did. I hired you as a book coach to help me write it, and you did the first round of editing, and then our other editor did the second round of editing, and she did some illustrating, and I had it professionally typeset, and I had a cover made by a professional, and I sent it out for review. So I did a press release and a query letter and you know, that buildup, like learning how to do metadata, all of that stuff resulted in thousands of sales, not just a handful. And and it getting into people's homes and receiving letters from people like, "Oh my God, I'm so excited about your book. It really changed my life." And I didn't receive any of that from the time I tried to release my book to make money or to just do it quickly and have it out there, just to have it out there. Like that was the whole feeling of it. Like I just want to put it out there. And I loved the topics. Obviously, I wrote them. There were blog posts. I like what was in it. I liked the whole concept, but it was just a different intention, you know?
Yes, yes. Because it is okay. I mean, I had a student once who just wrote a book that she only intended to give to her grandchildren. And she still did the work. She got it edited. She wanted it to look good, but she didn't need to go to a high-end publisher. She just, in fact, she ended up going to like Office Depot and making copies of it and binding it herself. And that was great because that was the point of what she wanted. But she still took her time when she needed to take time, and then other things weren't so critical. And I completely agree. There are times where just rushing through to because you just want to do the thing is fine. But if you want the big, yeah, it's just different. If you want to put the book out to the whole wide world, it does need to it needs to take a little more time. And that's not bad because then you can really enjoy the whole process, learn from the whole process, and that's fun too.
Yeah, it gets the care it deserves. It's like you're holding it through this beautiful process. You know what I mean? And you're sharing it with these, influential people in the industry, book buyers and librarians, and people who will share about it in the media. Like you're cradling your beautiful message, and I think that that's really cool.
Yes, yes. There can be a time where it's good to write fast.
That's what I was
Really
gonna say. When you were saying like there's a time to rush, that's I was thinking first draft, first draft.
first draft. Exactly. Writing that first draft fast is fantastic because you get to the end. So many people get stuck. This is one of the things we'll work on in the class. So many people have really good three really good chapters that they've been working on for years, and they edit it and revisit it, and it's not a book. And if you can just blitz through that first draft, you have a first draft, and it's probably kind of terrible, and
Yeah,
that's okay.
it should be. It should be terrible. You shouldn't edit as you go. Yeah.
Exactly. Because if you edit as you go, you get stuck in the re-edits. And I also find that I tend to forget what did I do? What do I still need to do? Did I think about, I'll overthink certain things and forget certain other things. So if you just get right through it, then you have it. And then I feel like that's when the real art comes in. You get to play with it, you get to revisit it, you get to shore it up, you get to find out what you completely left out and need to put in. And but now you have a manuscript, and how many people can even say that? So it's a huge accomplishment, and it's the that blitz writing through the first draft can be really fun too.
Yeah. And I'm that person. I had like a vague outline, and some writing. I wouldn't even call it chapters, but some writing for probably a decade about this book. But I'm a naturally like motivated writer. I like to write, and I couldn't do it. I could not get through it. And Dina, you helped me come up with an outline like from my higher self, which felt really good and amazing. You helped me set loose deadlines, like we met every few weeks so that I would feel excited to have something to share with you. You never made me feel wrong if I didn't have something new or as much new as I wanted. And I've done a lot of things in my life. I've done I've gone through really, really hard things, like most people. Writing that book was the hardest thing I've ever done. And I talked to a lot of authors who could say the exact same thing. It's hard to organize your thoughts and to put them out and to keep going. There were chapters that I just was blank on. There were things that I didn't know how to approach. I didn't know what else to say. Um, and so having accountability there really, if I didn't, I wouldn't have the book out. Like it wouldn't have gotten done. I mean, I would sometimes sit at my computer for 3 hours only to write for the last 30 minutes. But it was worth it because I knew what I was creating, and I knew I had a team supporting me, um and that's okay. If that was my path of least resistance, that's okay. And you want to know why? It's because it's still out there in the world. Like people still buy it every day. Like it's having a book is it's like having a real living thing out there speaking for you all the time and moving across the world. And it's just there's nothing like it if you do it right, if you set it up right so that it does actually continue to sell, which of course publishers, that's our goal to do for you. um, it's surreal to have that happen, and it's totally worth that, like 6 weeks, 8 weeks of maybe mild torture of getting it out of your head, because that's the hard part. After that, it's amazing. Working with an editor, unbelievable. I'm a pretty good writer naturally, but my stuff is never complete until it's been edited, because there are things that I'm not good at. I'm not good at transitions. I'm not good at finding where I'm being repetitive, or where there's something that I know in my head. So when I write it, it seems complete, but another person reading it would be like, huh, what's the context here? How do, what is this? What are you trying to say to me? And an editor, that's their pleasure. That's their love. Like, they love finding stuff like that and suggesting things. So I loved the whole entire process of working with you and Jen and everybody. It was, I guess you could say I published books before I published mine, but being the like author and the publisher was cool, because I feel like I was the guinea pig for what we're offering you guys.
I learned a lot of it the same way too, making my own mistakes, practicing with my own books, discovering how not to do it,
Yeah.
finding out that I am a good writer and I'm a good editor, and I'm an artist, but I am not a cover designer. And my covers of my old books, they're just not good. They look very amateurish, and that's not fair to the book. Um, and the other thing, something else you said too, is working with other people. And you know, it's just so good to have somebody else to talk to. Um, I've always partnered with my brother. We try to write books at the same time, just so that, and we don't even write the same kind of books anymore. But just knowing somebody else is going to be doing it and that you're going to be saying something, we never get in trouble for not getting it right. Sometimes what you go to meet with them and report to them, wow, I meant to get something done, and instead I got nothing done. But there's something about it that just, you're going to go tell somebody. It makes all the difference in the world. I don't even fully understand why. It just does.
I know. I'm with you. I'm with you. Yeah, so spoiler, part of this class is that you're going to be writing your book during the 6-week course. And that's a great way to either not have to hire a book writing coach, um, and to have a community do it with you, but also just to experience that in a group. All of you finding out what it is that you really want to say, whether it's nonfiction or fiction, and going through the process of letting yourself say it and letting yourself organize it and put it into words and paragraphs and chapters. And like, it's thrilling to see that in a group. And we're really excited. And the thing that Dina helped me understand the most was the show Don't Tell. You've probably heard that before. I didn't really know what that meant. Like, I didn't know how to execute that. But Dina really helped me with that. So maybe we'll start there. Like, you can talk about your outline, but the things that you notice you're able to help writers with just by being experienced.
Yeah, so I have done this before. I used to own my own publishing company too. I got out of it simply because I was working too much, but I still love it. And I did find that people will have really good ideas and not know quite how to get there, or they just dream of writing and don't know where to start. I mean, you could be anywhere on that spectrum, and if you just kind of have a buddy who's been through the process, it does make a huge difference. Um, so I did start teaching writing, and it was teaching writing, but you're right, it's also like coaching writing, because they just sometimes you just need to have that clarity of what's the next step.
Mhm.
Just worry about this. You're not doing the whole thing at once. Just focus on this. And that goes all the way from writing the rough draft to the edits and like you said, the show Don't Tell. That one actually is the other one that's hard for people to get sometimes is point of view. um, and they'll just be in everybody's head and they don't even know they're doing it. They're just, and just practice though. Practice helps with all of that. Reading examples helps with all of that. And I like to give people examples of an author who has done it splendidly. So that really helps us to get it into our own heads. And Yeah, so I taught it for a long time, and I don't know, I could just go a million hours just talking about it because now I'm getting excited about everybody writing, so I've kind of gotten off track there a little bit, but um,
That's okay.
just having a team though and knowing the next step, it's just makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. And in the class, we're also going to share what the publishing process is like. So Dina has great tips on. I mean, I'll be there too, but she's in a she's just a great teacher. Like I'm really good at teaching some things, but she is really excellent at teaching how to do these things, the techniques of how to be a better writer, and all that. So anyway, during class, we will be writing your book. And we're also going to go over at the end maybe what is the best next step for you. Is it to self-publish? Is it to use somebody like us who's a self-publishing services company? Maybe it's to go and find an agent. So we'll go over all of those things too. And the tuition for the class becomes a coupon to work with us if you ever want to do that. So you can go to the Intuitive Art website and learn more about the class and look at the whole outline and register if you want to. I just wanted to throw that in there because I'm excited about that. We're launching our publishing services in a bigger way, and we are wanting to work with people who have something to say and are excited to share it. And so we're teaching this class together for everyone who's interested in writing their book in a more leveraged, easy way, utilizing intuitive art. And it's really just to help you stay organized and feel solid, the intuitive art part. When I got stuck writing, I wasn't sure how to approach a chapter. I would do an intuitive art drawing of like, all right, what is this chapter need to say, or what is the tone of my book? I would just use it for all those things. So the intuitive art is really a homework part of the class to help you feel like you have it under control, like it's not just this big nebulous thing. But obviously the writing part is still writing, or actually probably more like that. So yeah, go check it out at intuitiveart.com. But yeah, the class is awesome, and I don't remember what else I was saying before that, but yeah, we're awesome. You're awesome. The class is awesome. Can't wait to help you write your book.
Yes. Yes.